everybody, and welcome to the Women's Wrestling Syndicate. Today we have none other than the one, the only, LPW's own Sinister Sin. Yes, she made it, and she's on the phone live with us tonight. Sinister Sin, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Welcome, beautiful people. It's the Sinister one.
We're glad to have you, Sinister Sin.
Well, thank you very much.
I have a few questions for you. I want to know, our fans want to know, how did you get into pro wrestling?
Well, uh, my husband, the great Mark Xavier, um, started with NWA, and he is my inspiration, and he trained me along with others. Um, I worked really hard, and it took a long time. I built myself up. I paid my dues. I didn't start off going out and whooping butts and taking names. I went out and represented Mark Xavier, and it was a great. It's been a great 13 years, I have to say. I managed. For 2.5 years at NWA, and I got my start actually trained with NWA, my husband, but I actually got my start at XMCW. Alan Lynch, great friend of ours, he actually gave me my start, and my first match was with his brother, actually.
Oh,
for
wow.
the women's title. So,
Wait a minute. His brother for the women's title?
His brother for the women's title. None other than Gorgeous JC, which
Wow.
I lost, of course, because, they say the better woman wins, But I had a big entourage of people up there, managers and everything, and I still lost because I took a chair shot on accident that got in the way.
Oh, man.
And it was a great match. We haven't had our evening gown match yet, but I'm sure I'm gonna beat him.
So you're gonna have a rematch with him? What, 13 years later?
It's been in the making for 7 years.
Wow.
8 years. But he got recently married to his lover at LPW, and there was this big thing for him. And and legal gay marriage happened, which is a great thing.
Yes.
It was 605. Yeah, 605. Yes, right. 605 is where they got married at, and I can't even think anymore. But they're really great. And my husband, I actually had a hip replacement. Many people don't know this. And during my recovery, my husband trained me.
Oh, okay.
And it made me stronger. It made me have more self-esteem. It made me stronger. Stronger in my mind. And then the evilness came in me, and I became evil. And, germ pride all the way, I guess. But I have to say, it was my husband that got me into wrestling. I enjoyed watching him. So I guess that's how it happens for a lot of people. They watch a person that they adore and love, and it's a bonding moment. It was wonderful.
So basically, you're saying he basically inspired you to get into it yourself and train and bust your ass and get in the business. Hey, that's great. That's great. I mean, there's, that's fantastic that you're inspired by such a strong person. And I've heard of Mark Xavier. I hear he's one hell of an athlete, and you're one hell of an athlete yourself, and we're more than honored to have you on our show tonight.
Well, thank you very much.
No, can you tell us about one of your last places where I've heard that you worked? Do you know the demon mistress Lady Merrick's?
Oh yes, I do know her,
She was
and
on our
I
show
have
last month.
warned her. Um, Legends Pro Wrestling, Miss
Hmm.
Demon Mistress. See, she played me as a fool. She come to me as, this person, and I was trying to help her and bring her out in my spotlight.
Hmm.
See, I am the original diva of LPW, and you know, she knew that that meant a lot to me, the integrity and everything. And I was having a tough battle
Hmm.
with one of the greatest women I will ever know, Miss Gemini. And
Ooh,
she knew
Gemini,
I
really?
had to
You
get revenge.
actually
I had
had
to take revenge.
you had you actually had a little feud. Gemini, man,
Yes,
she scares
she
the
was my
hell out of me.
toughest. I had to say psychologically and
Yeah,
physically
that's what I'm
toughest.
saying. I can't close my eyes every time I see that face. I just see that mask and just I can't even. Ooh,
I
man.
know she is incredible, and I have to say my greatest opponent in 13 years.
Wow,
Um,
that's saying something there.
yes, and I feel kind of now that we can turn a page um, in this, and I almost feel a kindership to her. And me and her friend Scarlett made a nice little broke into out of the arena hauled ass, so I didn't get my butt kicked.
Scarlet. Now,
With
is she
tape, from the
is
duct tape I had to do. But it's my hair. I just cannot allow my diva-ship, my standing to be destroyed by this woman that comes into my house. It feels like my house show.
mm-hmm.
I've been with LPW for so long from the beginning. And, you know, being the original diva, I felt like my, my, my title was in jeopardy. And she really gave it to me. I'm kind of afraid of,
I
really.
don't think though I would call Gemini a diva. She's more of a
Oh, she is
monster.
no diva. She is class
She's a
all the way.
monster. She is a
She will
beast.
whip your butt if you get her way. Now, I did kind of feel a little threatened, because I didn't know what she could do to me. But I seen what she could do to me, and then I had to get revenge. I did it. I did it in the I did it in old-fashioned Sister Sin style. I have to say, since I've kind of tamed myself down because I've seen so much go on with LPW. And that night, I'm like, you know what? She's here. I have duct tape. What am I going to do? I don't want to get attacked again. People are going to think I'm weak. She can kick my butt. So I have to do something to keep my standing up.
Mm-hmm.
People know me. And, the big dog there, the woman. And this wonderful woman comes into my house, and she can whip my butt, with blood beads. I need to do something. So when I did that, and then she comes out, and uh, I warned Demon Mistress before the show. I said, I do not want you out there misbehaving. I have a duty, and when I got cheated on, I went to the GM, and
Mm-hmm.
I see so many backroom deals, so many cheating that went on, and I myself am a former cheater when it comes to wrestling. Everybody knows I am the great cheater. But I was being to myself. I was finally trying to turn a page and be a good girl, and you know, but she brought something out of me that I felt betrayed by giving myself to her. and bring her out into my shadow. I'm sure all women wrestlers know. You know, we're the top dogs.
Yeah.
And when another dog, when another person comes in and you're helping them out, and then they betray you, it's sorry. Um, you just made a mortal enemy of me. But I finally feel that I've reached a different corner now with Gemini, and I think that I think she would be my ally more than my enemy.
I would, yeah. I would definitely want her as an ally. I would definitely want her as an ally, not as an enemy. You don't want that in your head.
I think we could be allies. I could see down the road me and her wiping the town with the diva search they are going to have, with all these girls coming in trying to take our place. Demon Mistress, she needs to branch off from Fred Krueger and be her own woman. Stop trying to blame the GM, blame me, blame everybody else for her situation. Like 8 by 10 and Great Jack Blaze. You can't do that, You gotta take responsibility for your own action. And, when I get finished with her, and I don't know if you know this, I was running for GM. I was going to be the anti-GM.
Yes.
Because I was just sick and tired of Michael Alexander's bullcrap and his terrible dictatorship. And he was a dictator. He was dictating everything, and I just couldn't take it no more. And I stood up to him and said, look. And then I realized after, coming back after the great match Blood Beast and Mark Savior had, and was out there watching her do exactly what the Demon Mistress said, do exactly what I said. I said, you know what? I said, we have a common enemy. And I thought about it, So I contacted him. I said, and I think everybody knows that I do play fair, but I like to keep my enemies closer. And I told him, I said, you're my enemy, but we have one common enemy. Or two now, fair with bread. It's Demon Mistress. She used me up and hanged me out to dry. And she did the same thing to Mike Alexander, the GM. So I was appointed to assistant GM, and I was granted permission to rain havoc on LPW.
Oh. Wow.
Nobody should have that much power. I think you would agree with that.
Well, yeah, but I feel with you speaking to us now, I feel that we could trust you into making the right decisions. Kind of be the yin to his yang.
Yes.
Kind of balance each other out.
He's got the title I should have. I could beat it out of him, or I could just take it and as assistant. But I'm still going to be pretty much running it. He's just going to be like my puppet.
So basically, he'll be the one to go get the donuts and the coffee and things like that.
I mean,
maybe he can send a fax or two.
Yeah, send a fax or two, or he can go out and get my laundry. Which he told me that's what women are good for, to shut up, stay in the kitchen, take care of the kids. I told him that no one's going to make me do that,
Well, remind me never to have him on this show. Well, he really can't be on this show because he's not a woman, but,
He is the most womanizing, cheap person I've ever seen in my life. He doesn't think women should have any power. But I told him, he did it on purpose. He calls me out to, this whole la-di-da about me, complaining about him. And he knew that night I had something to do. he knew that I couldn't get in the ring and just waste what energy I did have on him.
Mm-hmm.
I could have went in there and do what I usually do, the roll of thunder and broke him in half, and then he'd be crying, and then we'd have the GM. But instead, I just, as a woman with class, what I'm trying to be, the new and improved Sinister Son, let him slide. And it kind of worked out in my advantage because we sit down, he doesn't have the experience that I do. And
Mm-hmm.
I have a bigger mouth than he does, so I'm sure people are going to hear me a lot louder than they hear him. And I'm willing to take on anybody in the locker room who's going to destroy, the integrity of LPW, which starts with Demon Mistress and Fred Krueger. And apparently, I've become one of their playthings. That's what they called me out on their new play toy. So.
Wow. And whenever I had her on, she said that basically you guys had a common enemy in the GM, Michael Alexander, and that you guys were going to team up. Boy, did I have the wool pulled over my eyes.
That's before I was helped her. That was our common goal, was to take out the GM. But that night, when I asked her, we were having a great night for a great cause for the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. And it's like, take your drama outside and leave it, if you got problems, take care of it in the locker room. Don't bring it out there during that night, And then she goes out there and does exactly what I asked her not to do. I did you a favor. I brought you in. I give you in my spotlight to shine. And what do? You stab me in the back during a great night, which raised a lot of money for the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. And I think you would agree that night was not for going out there and attacking our GM or trying to make a political statement just because you're mad at our GM and attacking the chairman, So that's not how things run. If you have a problem, you come to a common source. We had this worked out. That you turned on me, so I'm not one of them people that like to talk more than once. If I say please, and I did say please, and when I'm trying really, really hard to be a good girl, people should listen because I can be very, very mean when I want to be. I think every woman out there knows we have that side of us. Once we're betrayed, it takes a long time for us to forgive and forget. And since I've been called out on several occasions during a 20-minute promo of all things, and I think any woman out there will agree, if you're called out by Fred Krueger, and the thing is, she didn't even have the gall to call me out herself. He called me out for her.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's what really got me. And I said, be a woman, say it to my face. I'm listening. She didn't respond. No response. And then Fred keeps on and keeps on and keeps on. And finally I got tired of it, And like I said, I'm assistant GM. And assistant GM kind of gives you a little bit more power than you should have, a person have. And I'm going to, appropriate it like it's supposed to be. But damned if I'm going to have someone come out there and ruin great matches like Mark Savior's or Bloodies or 8x10 or the chairman or during a Hall of Fame introduction or something like that. I think that you would agree with me. That would be very, very wrong.
Disrespectful. Very disrespectful.
Very disrespectful. And we've seen that. That's exactly what we've seen at the last show. We've seen disrespect. Any other night, I would have probably went out there and happily helped her, but I'm I have nothing against the chairman. Actually, you know, if anything, he's like a brother to us. To me, you know, 8 by 10. They helped us start our own uh, promotion um, that we ran ourselves. They're family to us.
Oh.
I have no beef with them. I really don't have any beef with anybody. As long as you don't try to step in my spotlight or go after Mark Saber, you have no beef with me. Um, but I have beef now. I have beef with GM, and I have beef with her. And if she wants it, she gets to come get it. And I want her to.
Mm.
I'm calling her out right on your show now. Bring it on. Because when I'm done with her, she's going to be crying, and she's not going to get back up. And the last person who called me out, she does not work for LPW no more. She's very wrestling. It's a man, too, but
Oh, wow.
men seem to underestimate the women.
You can't underestimate the women. That's technically why I have the show, the Women's Wrestling Syndicate. Nobody gives the women enough credit. But to tell you the truth, I enjoy watching, as a fan, I enjoy watching the female matches more than the men's matches. I mean, I'm a big Vanessa Craven fan. I'm a big Jessica Havoc fan. Nicole Matthews. I love Nicole Matthews. Portia Perez. Anybody basically on the Shimmer roster, Shimmer, Shine, all those all women female promotions, they need to be looked at as athletes instead of just, tits and ass.
Like Candy or not legitimate because you don't have the right part or, yeah, you know, being a woman, and I'm not a skinny woman. I am heavy set. I gained a lot of weight after an injury,
Mm-hmm.
and I can still do the roll of thunder. People's like, well, how can your size woman do that? And they're surprised that a woman, let alone a heavy set woman, can do these things. Well, it's called, we have athletic abilities too.
Yes.
They need to look at us as other than women. They need to look at us as athletes, and women can do everything men can do. Sometimes we can do things better.
Oh yeah. Look at when TNA and Shimmer, whenever they had the amazing Kong or the awesome Kong. Look at her. I mean, she she would crush people in the ring, and she had
I have
the
to say that.
athletic ability to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, that's
I
why I like all shapes and
100% agree.
sizes. Everybody can wrestle. You just got to have the heart to do it and stop looking at women like TNA and look at what they can do athletically. Like I said, I'm more entertained by watching. I can go to a WWE show and be bored to tears, come home, pop in a DVD of Shimmer 43 and just be like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
I know, right?
It's
There's
great.
this woman on the indie circuit. I can't remember her name to save my life. She does the most greatest hardcore, and
Hmm.
I always applauded her for the, you see men do it, but never seen a woman do it. And
I'm trying to think.
I always said
Lufisto?
I'm gonna wrestle her one day, and I haven't got the courage up yet to do it because she's really hardcore. I mean, she takes the beating, the real beatings that the men, do on like an ECW event, and
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think I have it in me.
Mm-hmm.
There are women like her. I think she's from Ohio, and she works the indie circuit. She should be like WWE, but
Would
she
it
doesn't fit
be
into their.
Lufisto? Yes, Lufisto. Oh, when, when she does the burning hammer, oh my god, that it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, big props to Lufisto. I would love to have Lufisto on the show. So Lufisto, if you're hearing this, hook me up. I would love to interview you on the show. Yes, you should definitely be WWE, but of course WWE. Yeah. We ain't got much to say about the WWE though.
No. I think they use their women up and they let them out. You know, look at Sable, look at Lita, look at Victoria, and Trish Stratus, and all these great women wrestlers before it turned into cartoon, I call it. That actually went out there and you could see they had heart and soul in it,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't just eye candy. And
Exactly.
you know, someone that has true heart to be in it, more than just going out and for a show. That's that's what makes a wrestling. To me, is if you have the heart, you have the soul in you, and you want to be in it for the right reason. No matter if you walk away with nothing, you still go out there with your best foot forward, and you give it a great show. That's the most
Right.
important thing to me.
Right.
It doesn't matter win or lose. You've done it. You've done it the right way. You've done it perfect. You've done it with heart and soul. That's what makes a business for for me. Every match I go out to do, I feel that there's a connection to it. I would never go into a match that I did not think that wasn't something that I would have to do. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it all the way.
Right.
So many times, I can name the many injuries that I've done to myself and got done to me
Mm-hmm.
because of the love of the business and the adrenaline kicks in. You don't even know you're hurt until you get home, or the next day, or I've seen it, and that's when if you can walk away, have an injury, walk away, then you know your heart wasn't in it. But if you have an injury and you walk right back in and you're still in it,
Yeah.
you know that your heart's there for good. I mean, I guess if it takes you out, you can't come back. But I'm 39. I'm an old woman basically, and I've had everything you can happen. You have broken bones and contusions and things like that. And even managing, you get that done. But you know what? At the end of the day, it was worth it.
Right.
Every single time, it was worth it.
Well, we thank you. We thank you for putting your bodies on the line for. I mean, I know you guys probably don't get this, but we thank you for entertaining us and putting your bodies on the line. And guys, please be careful out there. Please be careful. Thank you.
Yes.
But that's why you guys are, you guys are trained. Always work people that are trained and not, want to be, oh, I saw this on the WWE, so I think I can be. No, don't work anybody off the street. Work people that are trained, and you'll be good to go.
And that's a good thing that you said that, because there's so many wrestlers that claim to be wrestlers, but have no training. They just go out in the backyard and they play in their backyard, and they come in, and a lot of people get hurt by these people. And I've seen it, terribly. And there's so many people out there that will lie to a promoter and say, "Oh, I'm trained," but have no training to get in the ring and hurt themselves or hurt others.
Yes.
It sucks.
So the moral of the story is, if you want to wrestle or learn how to do it, find a reputable wrestling school and get trained by somebody who's legit.
Yep. That's about it, honey.
All right, well, we want to thank you, Sinister Sin, for being on our show today. Is there anything you'd like to say to the fans out there?
Other than thank you for the greatest 13 years of wrestling, and the Sister One is always there for my beautiful people. I call them my beautiful people because that's what they are. Every one of them, even the evil ones that talk down to you, they're still, beautiful people.
Am I one of the beautiful people?
Yes, you're one of the beautiful people.
Yeah, thank you very much. I feel prettier already. Let me push my gorgeous locks back. Ah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on our show today. And
Thank
you're
you
more
for
than
having
welcome.
me.
You're more than welcome to jump back on the Syndicate anytime. If you have something you want to say, the Syndicate is your platform.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All
And thank
right.
you for having me.
Thank you so much, Sinister Sin. And that was Sinister Sin, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank her for taking the time to do an interview with us tonight. And we will see you next time on the Women's Wrestling Syndicate. Who's our guest? I don't know. We'll have to figure that out when we get there. I'll see you next time. Have a great night, everybody. Bye bye.